Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, I would like to say thank you very much to the committee for giving me a chance to present my research result in this international conference. Okay, let me start my presentation. The title of my research is Student Perspective Toward English Material Related to Sport, presented by Rahmad Risan, Fakultas Ilmu Keolahragaan. We come to the first step is introductions. We come to the first chapter. One of the way that facilitates students to learn English easily is by looking for a correlation between the fields of knowledge and English learning material. It can motivate the student to be familiar with English related to their respective field of knowledge. Next is lack of understanding of the lecturer in sorting the material taught to the student whether it is in accordance with the needs of student or not. This opinion should not be ignored by the lecturer concerned because it greatly determines the effectiveness and efficiency of all lessons. That's why that the reason why the researcher choose this title to do the research, and then researcher considered it important to conduct research on English material, especially sport in English courses based on student perspective. Okay, we come to the next part is problem statement. There are two problem statement here. First is what are the students' perspective on English material, especially sport in English courses. And the second is what material are students most interested in English courses, where the research objective first is to find out the student's perspective regarding English material, especially sport in English courses. The second is to find out the material that the students are most interested in English courses. Next part is research method, where the research method consists of some parts. First is research design. This research is a qualitative descriptive study where the researcher collected the data through questionnaire and interview with research subject. Next is research subject. The subject of the study were students in 6th semester of the Sport Coaching Education Study Program, Faculty of Sports Science, State University of Makassar, where the classes consist of A, B, C, and D. The researcher randomly selected 10 students from each classes so that there are 40 students were selected as research subjects. Data sources. The data source is the research subject where the researcher gets the information as research data. Sources of data from the study were obtained through distributing questionnaire and interview with students. When the result of the research can be seen in the research finding. First is the results show that based on the student perspective, there were several interesting material related to the teaching English specifically for sport or English for sport based on the data from the question and interviews. Those are vocabulary, speaking, listening, grammar, writing, reading and pronunciation. Based on the data from the research result, there were 12 students, means 30%, who thought that their most popular material in teaching English, especially sport, was vocabulary. As many 10 students, or 25%, thought that the most popular material was speaking. There are 6 students, or 15%, who think that their material they are most interested in is listening. There are 5 students, or 12.5%, who think that their material they are most interested in is grammar. There are 3 students, 7.5% who think that the material they are more interested is writing. There are 3 students who think that the material they are more interested is reading, and the last is there were 1 student or 2.5% thought that the material they were not most interested is pronunciation. At the end, we give suggestion in this research is based on this research result. The researchers suggest as an educator, a lecturer should pay attention to the importance of providing material related to the student discipline so that their learning objectives and the learning outcomes of the study program graduates can be achieved and always be well synchronized. Next is the head of the study program should always monitor the process of preparing the learning tools made by each lecturer so that the material provided is in accordance with the needs of the students and the profile of achievement of the study program graduates. It's also suggested to the future researchers that to compile a teaching material that is more specifically discussing English material specifically for sport, or which is more popularly known as English for sport, or based on the English material what the student need. Okay, that's all for my presentation of my research. Thank you very much for your kind attention, and assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.